work.
What is your journey within crypto?
I mean, back when Coinbase opened up, and I've always, let me take a step back. I've always been a tech guy. I had a systems integration company that I built, and like I said, I wrote software, did distributed database applications, and so that gave me a fundamental understanding of everything that was going on. And so when crypto hit,
we'll have to have the two of you in a hackathon.
I probably 2012, I think, is when Coinbase got started, and that's when I downloaded it and started messing around with it. And people would just send you some Bitcoin, people would send you this or that, and then when Ethereum hit 2012 or whatever, I remember 2010, started just messing around and trying to understand that. And honestly, my orientation always was kind of conflicted with crypto, because I never saw it as potential of being a currency. I saw it being a method of exchange. I understood blockchain, and like I said, I did distributed databases, so I saw the value there.
Cool. Yeah.
But I would always give people shit, and because everybody was saying, Bitcoin's going to be a currency, and I was never a proponent of that. But and I just followed it and tracked it, and I never really sold anything that people would give me, as they would try to get me to pimp things out and promote things. And so I managed to accumulate some things along the way, and then I even took some flyers on some things and have bought some things along the way, some Bitcoin and Ethereum over the years. So again, stuff that I just all held. That was going on. So when crypto hit, I would always get into battle. Bitcoin's not going to be a currency. It's not going to be a currency, and I still feel that way. And then the whole thing went from it's a currency to it's a store of value, and that's what I would always say. This or that, and then with Ethereum hit 2012 or whatever, I remember 2010. Started just messing around and trying to understand that. And honestly, my orientation always was kind of conflicted with crypto, because I never saw it as the potential of being a currency. I saw it being a method of exchange. I understood blockchain, and like I said, I did distributed databases, so I saw the value there. But I would always give people shit, and because everybody was saying, Bitcoin's going to be a currency, and I was never a proponent of that. But what and I just followed it and tracked it, and I never really sold anything that people would give me, as they would try to, get me to pimp things out and promote things. And so I managed to accumulate some things along the way. And then I even took some flyers on some things and have bought some things along the way, some Bitcoin and Ethereum over the years. Again, stuff that I just all held. I would always get into battles with people that, Bitcoin's not going to be a currency. It's not going to be a currency. And I still feel that way. And then the whole thing went from it's a currency to it's a store of value. And, and that's what I would always say. Bitcoin is a store of value, no different than gold. It's worth what somebody would pay for it. Doesn't have a whole lot of utility. I'd rather have a banana if it came down to it. But, but it's still a store of value. And then what's really changed things is I got into messing more with smart contracts around NFTs. Then, that's where things really started to really blast off for me when it came to crypto. Because with smart contracts, let me take a step back. So as I was reading and listening more about NFTs, more just recently over the last few months, I went to mintable.app and decided just to mint some things and learn how they went. And I went to Rarible, and I went to OpenSea, and I went to others. And as I minted some things, the minute I saw the fact that you could save royalties and store royalty, and I forget the standard for it, but you could save a royalty into the blockchain as part of a smart contract. That was the game changer in terms of me just diving in, because what that meant was any type of digital IP could be monetized, tracked, and every time there was a resale, then the original creator could participate. And to me, that was the game changer that really opened up my eyes on NFTs in particular. And then you start digging in to see what the applications were and how they work. And, you start getting into, smart chains, Binance Smart Chains and others, and Ethereum, and how layer one works. And like I said, I worked with networks for years. We were a systems integrator. So I know, back when we started AudioNet, when no one was doing streaming and no one knew what streaming was, we had to deal with layer one, layer two, layer three. We had to deal with different types of ways of presenting streaming and doing streaming across multi-networks. And so I understood the whole layer 1, layer 2, 3, 4 concept. And so I just started digging in and just seeing the rush of applications, the competition, the hype, the challenges is interesting. But where there's interest, you can start to see, like, just in the old days, looking to write database applications to automate analog processes. That was one big step. Then you saw that move to the internet. Then you saw it move to the cloud and to mobile. And now with blockchain, I think, we're seeing a whole lot of underpinning on how these things could be applied there as well. And that's why it got me excited.
Awesome. Yeah. And I guess, CZ, you've been through several of these cycles yourself now. I think Mark talks about a lot of new sort of applications and products and things built with blockchain technology. What do you think is different about this time?
I think, what Mark just said is really eye-opening for me, to be honest. So I'm really into crypto, as everybody knows. But I actually think Bitcoin is a currency from the very beginning, and the smart contract part, the NFT part, actually I wasn't that deep into it, to be very honest, because I'm busy with Binance. So that's a really interesting aspect about like this new industry where things keep developing at a really breakneck speed, and different things attract different people. So that's really, really fascinating for me to learn. And it's kudos to Ethereum for Vitalik for inventing smart contract solidity, etc. So I think Binance Smart Chain is really benefiting from those inventions now. So from market cycles, look, the market is always going to go in cycles. There's going to be a bull cycle, bear cycle, etc. But I think this cycle, but within crypto and different things attract different people. So that's really, really fascinating for me to learn. And it's kudos to Ethereum for Vitalik for inventing smart contract solidity, etc. So I think Binance Smart Chain is really benefiting from those inventions now. So from market cycles, look, the market is always going to go in cycles. There's going to be a bull cycle, bear cycle, etc. But I think this cycle, but within crypto and different things attract different people. So that's really, really fascinating for me to learn. And it's kudos to Ethereum for Vitalik for inventing smart contract solidity, etc. So I think Binance Smart Chain is really benefiting from those inventions now. So from market cycles, look, the market is always going to go in cycles. There's going to be a bull cycle, bear cycle, etc. But I think this cycle, but within crypto and different things attract different people. So that's really, really fascinating for me to learn. And it's kudos to Ethereum for Vitalik for inventing smart contract solidity, etc. So I think Binance Smart Chain is really benefiting from those inventions now. So from market cycles, look, the market is always going to go in cycles. There's going to be a bull cycle, bear cycle, etc. But I think this cycle, but within crypto and different things attract different people. So that's really, really fascinating for me to learn. And it's kudos to Ethereum for Vitalik for inventing
is no different than people assigning high value to any cryptocurrency.
Like smart contract solidity, etc. So I think Binance Smart Chain is really benefiting from those innovations now. So from market cycles, the market is always going to go in cycles. There's going to be a bull cycle, bear cycle, etc. But I think this cycle, but within crypto and different things attract different people. So that's really, really fascinating for me to learn. And it's kudos to Ethereum for
market in NFTs is no different than people with internet value to any early days of the internet.
Smart contract solidity, etc. So I think Binance Smart Chain is really benefiting from those innovations now. So for market cycles, the market is always going to go in cycles. There's going to be a bull cycle, bear cycle, etc. But I think this cycle, but within crypto and different things attract different people. So that's
NFT is no different. We saw this with internet values too. In the early days, early days, no different. We saw this with internet values too. In the early days, no different. We saw this with internet values too. In the early
Some people